So my instrument cluster sits at 199,998, and normally I'd slow roll it down the shoulder or something and take a picture of the 99 and then the 2000. But the thing is, I'm here at O'Reilly Auto Parts now because a couple of weeks ago I ordered a whole new instrument cluster. I replaced this one a little less than a year ago and it's still under warranty. Well, that warranty includes all of the warning lights on it, which, see, the high beam indicator works, left turn signal indicator works, but not the right turn. So that bulb is soldered to the circuit board, so I wasn't able to replace it by itself, so I had to order a whole new cluster. So it's going to be end of this month, beginning of next month before we can celebrate this one rolling over, because when I ordered this new cluster I had to give the mileage that was on it at the time, which was 199,230, I think. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and show y'all how to remove the instrument cluster on a 2003 Chevy Tahoe. I think this will work for 2001 through 2006 Tahoes, Suburbans, Avalanches, Yukons, Escalades, some Silverados, if I didn't mention those yet. It's very simple. So you want to tilt the steering wheel all the way down. You want to turn the key just enough to where it unlocks the shift lever. You step on the brake, put it all the way down in first gear. Then you're going to grab this bezel at the top, pinch it like this, pull towards you, and lay it up there on the dash. Then you got 4 screws holding it in. There's 7mm screws. One here, one here, one down here, and another one down here. I'm going to put the phone down for a minute, get my tools. So what I got here is an electric drill with an adapter on it that holds 1/4-inch drive sockets. If it'll focus, it's not going to focus. There it is. Lost it. Okay, there it is. It's an adapter that'll hold 1/4-inch drive sockets. Got my little 7mm 1/4-inch drive socket here. And I got a 12-inch 1/4-inch drive extension to help get you around the turn signal lever and the shift lever and all that wants to get in the way of the drill when you're pulling out the screws. Also, this extension has a special tip that allows the socket to wiggle a little bit, so you can put it on at an angle. Get that one loose. That one loose. And my socket fell to the floor. I'll put the phone down for a second. This screw here. And this one over here. Reach in. One here. Come on. There you go. One there. Down here. And one here. So I got 4 screws. I'll lay it here. If you drop one down into the dash, you can get a magnet, like a telescoping magnet. You can pick one up for about $3 at O'Reilly or Harbor Freight. And if you can see the bolt down in there, you can grab it with the magnet. Or else, I'm sure there's some videos on YouTube that shows how to remove this knee bolster panel here, so you can find a screw that doesn't drop all the way to the floor. So now that the screws are out, I'm going to put the shifter back down here. Just just lift up the cluster, pull towards you, and there's one connector back here. Grab it like so, and kind of wiggle it to the left and the right, pulls right out. And here's our cluster. I'm going to go inside and exchange it for the new one. Alright, got my new remanufactured cluster. It is a Dorman remanufactured cluster. I could get an OEM one, but I'd probably be spending between $500 and $1,000 between buying the part and paying to have a dealership program it for me. This Dorman one I got for about, well, this one was actually warranty, but when I bought it last year it was about $220 with sales tax, and of course I installed it myself. It comes pre-programmed. You just tell them the VIN of the vehicle and the mileage. You gotta be honest. In my case, the first time I replaced it, the odometer wasn't working at all, and I had just bought the vehicle. And the previous owner estimated about $180,000, so that's what I told him. So, but installation is pretty easy. It's the reverse of the removal. You got that one connector back there. Of course, I'm doing this one-handed so I can hold the camera. But connector plugs into the back. You will hear a snap when it's locked, when the connector's locked in place. Just kind of maneuver it up into place. You see there's a alignment tab right here, and another one on the bottom left. So alignment tab bottom left, alignment tab bottom right. Then you can reinstall your 4 screws, one at each corner. Again, these are 7mm screws. You just need a 7mm 1/4" drive socket. You don't have to have an electric drill like me. You can simply use a handle and attach it directly to that socket, and just put them reasonably tight. If you put them too tight, they will break off. So just tight enough to hold the cluster firmly in place. And of course, when it comes to putting the bezel back in, make sure your steering wheel tilted all the way down. You're going to want to put the shifter all the way down in one. You can kind of pivot the bottom of the bezel here on top of the steering column. It may press the hazard flasher on you, but you just got to kind of squeeze it in there, grab it at the top, push this down. You'll have an alignment tab over here on the left. There's another one here on the right. Just line those up, and then the bezel pretty much just snaps in. If those alignment tabs are lined up correctly, you should be able to simply push the bezel in place. It lights up there. I got 199,230. That's what I had when I ordered the new cluster. So, you know, I got to use this vehicle for work, so I can't just stop driving it. So we're missing about 768 miles off of it. So late January, early February, we'll be able to celebrate this one rolling over to 200K. So, a lot of you aren't going to have this option, especially not if you got your typical code readers, even some of the little more expensive ones that you can get at auto parts stores or wherever. It might read some data, but you're not going to have a whole lot of special functions. In my case, I'm a professional, so I have to have a really nice scanner. So I'm going to go ahead and check my gauges. Make sure they all have full range. In my case, this is a 2003. I believe I have automatic ID on this one. 03 Tahoe rear-wheel drive. And I'm going to scroll down here to instrument cluster. Just check, make sure there's no codes in it. There won't be, but yeah, no current codes, no history. And of course, I got the functional tests on here. DIC odometer. That means all my little segments. And that little vacuum, I think it's vacuum fluorescent display. Push this up here. I hit off on here. Actually doesn't do anything. If I hit on, it does this. So all my little segments are working. Hit off, goes back to normal. Head back out. All telltales. These are all the warning lights. I think except for check engine, turn signal indicators, and high beam indicator, those are not actually controlled by the cluster. The cluster just provides power to them, so they're grounded by different electrical circuits. But all telltales. Hit on. See, they all come on. Oh, the high beam indicator does come on. Let's see, I got my hazards here. Low fuel indicator, battery light. So, looks good. Go ahead and turn those off. It'll turn off. Back out of there. All gauges. Now this is the sweep test I was talking about. Go in there, hit off, they all go to 0. I guess it depends on what angle you're looking at. Look at it from this angle, they all look a hair above, but they're all perfect here. I'm going to go and hit on. They all go full range. I think that fuel gauge goes a little beyond. So I think that means my fuel gauge is always going to read slightly more than what it actually has. I don't expect this cluster to be perfect. It is a Dorman remanufactured cluster. Like I said earlier, if I wanted to spend $500 to $1,000, I'd get the one from the dealership, but I'm not going to do that. This is good enough for me. Exit out of there. My gauges go back to normal. That's it for my videos today. Thanks for watching.